Hey guys, and welcome to Collider Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm your host, Natasha Martinez, and this is the daily show where we give you all the latest news in the world of movies, plus some insight into what it all means. Joining us today is Mark Ellis.
Welcome one and all to the best movie news show in the entire, how do you say, a galaxy, Natasha. We have an incredible cast.
Wow.
They do all sorts of fun voices and impressions of people all over the world, not the least bit offensive to anybody in any European country. On today's show, we have some Han Solo updates. Artemis Fowl gets a cast, and Halloween gets a familiar face, albeit behind a mask. Who is joining me, and what are their talents?
Well, also joining me is the very talented John Rocha.
Hello, how are you? I am the Last Jedi, as they say, as you cannot find me. Listen, let's make it happen.
Oh, okay. Oh my God.
That feels good. That feels good.
Happening.
This is the sad part about this is that this right now is the Collider Christmas party. This is actually what it is.
Yeah.
This is the most fun.
Enjoy your white elephant, Griff.
Also joining us, Mark Reilly.
Well, happy to be here. And Mark Ellis, yes, I am your Secret Santa.
You are my Secret Santa.
There it is.
365 days out of the year. We have a whole lot of fun movie news to get to and a lot of French accents to make through somehow in the next 45 to 50 minutes. So, Natasha, we are kicking off with a Star Wars story, but it's not about The Last Jedi. It's about actually a Star Wars story.
Okay, with The Last Jedi currently in theaters, Star Wars fans are now wondering about the next entry from a galaxy far, far away, Solo, a Star Wars story. While the production problems alone have given fans something to talk about, not a single plot element has been revealed, other than it will feature everyone's favorite scruffy-looking nerf-herder Han Solo and his walking carpet companion Chewbacca. But if actor Paul Bettany is to be believed, it looks as though Solo will break new ground by being sort of a gangster film set inside the Star Wars universe. Speaking with Total Film about the movie, Bettany said, It's a Han Solo story, and of course his story would be a caper. On one level, it's a gangster movie that's really interesting because it's within the canon, but really different. It's effing Han Solo. Mark, I had to catch myself there. Mark, thoughts on Solo being sort of a gangster film set inside the Star Wars universe?
Thank you for your professionalism. A whole lot of F-bombs happened in the studio in the last 12 hours, so I'm going to try to clean it up here. I like hearing this news. Paul Bettany is the new guy on the crew. He was brought in when Ron Howard came in to do the extensive reshoots that were needed on Solo, a Star Wars story. He replaced sort of Michael K. Williams from The Wire because he was not available to come back for reshoots to do more with his character. So now Bettany is playing a new character. So him saying that it is a gangster film implies that that's going to be an element of the movie, but also that's probably going to be intricate in his storyline, whether he's playing a bounty hunter who's a rival of Han Solo, they're going after the same spices, whatever is happening in that. I think that that's going to be a huge part of the movie. Maybe that factors into why you would need to do the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs, simply because there's gangsters after you and you got to get the hell away from them. This sounds exciting. I think this is going to be a fun movie. I think it is going to have a heist element to it. Look at what Ant-Man did in the MCU, where it was a smaller movie. It was different. It was a superhero that we didn't know that well. Now, obviously, we're very familiar with Han Solo, but we don't know much about his past or his youth before we meet him in the bar in Mos Eisley in A New Hope. So I'm interested in this, and I think it's the right way to approach the story, if that's what I'm hearing, Reilly. How about you?
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a scruffy-looking nerf-herder. I love the idea. You know, we're changing the conversation because we've had so much talk about the production problems, and there hasn't been a narrative going forward other than, oh my God, this is in trouble. And so now when Paul Bettany comes out and says, one, it's effing Han Solo, which I like, and then says kind of a gangster movie, there's a caper involved, I was able to finally go, okay, we're going to get something new. Maybe Rogue One was the war movie, like the straight-up war movie, like they brought in the cinematographer for Zero Dark 30 and like did it that way. This, I love the idea of having some elements of, I know I said the Goodfellas quote, but having a little dynamic with somebody, whether it's Woody Harrelson and Alden Ehrenreich, having a dynamic that reminds you of a De Niro and a Ray Liotta. I can't believe I'm comparing Goodfellas and Star Wars right now. This is where my life has gone now. This is ridiculous, but so cool in another way. But I like that idea that it could have some flavors to it that has like a genre feel of a gangster movie inside the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, Rocha, you hear gangster, and Riley's mind immediately goes to Goodfellas, and I was thinking more along like if you're looking at a heist that we need to like be like cat burglars. We need to steal something. So more of like an Ocean's 11 kind of vibe. Where do you see this movie landing if you had to compare it to a film that you've already witnessed?
Well, I think Ocean's 11 seems more in line with that because of the smirky nature of Solo, and yeah, he's dealing with all this stuff with he's a scoundrel, so he's going to deal with Jabba the Hutt and all these different. So intergalactic gangster sounds great. Go get your power converters. Keep them here. Keep them here. No, I'd love to see something like that. Tashi Station. No, I'd love to see a little more of that element brought here. But Paul Bettany's probably been playing this gangster a little too long because he dropped a lot of f-bombs in this interview. He was like, the staging ability is so effing brilliant. This is effing Han Solo and effing this or that. Like, calm down, Paul. We get it. You're a gangster. Let's
He's
all
the
calm
Joe
down.
Pesci of the universe.
But I think what's important about this quote too is or one of his quotes here. He said. When he was talking about Ron Howard, he said he reshot a lot more than was originally intended. So I think that's the first time that someone has come forward and said and confirmed that Ron Howard shot more, because the rumor was that 90% of the film was done and Ron was doing to do cleanup. So now we get the confirmation that all this time that he's been sending these pics on Twitter and all the stuff that he's been doing, that he's been reshooting a lot of the movie. So I don't know who's going to get credit for this. I don't think Lord and Miller in the end may not get credit for this. Maybe it will be a Ron Howard film, and so at that point it'll be interesting to see how this turns. But I love the idea, and I think Ron Howard could do a gangster film that still could be a little darker than you would think about for a Star Wars movie, but still have that smirk in it.
It's a great question. I mean, it might be the opposite of what happened with Justice League, where you actually give directorial credit to Ron Howard. Again, I don't know how the DGA rules work on that, where somebody initially gets hired to do a project regardless of how many reshoots take place, where I think ideally Lucasfilm would love to have Ron Howard be named the director, and then you would have story by Lord and Miller and Ron Howard, or script written by Lord and Miller and Lawrence Kasdan. But I think they want to make sure that Kasdan gets the credit and Ron Howard gets the credit for doing the bulk of the heavy lifting on this movie, or what it ended up being. Natasha, the story of Han Solo, the guy that we know from the movies, his backstory involves a lot of gangster and a lot of smuggling aspects, so this makes sense for the movie, right?
Yeah. I'm ready to see a Han Solo gangster movie, okay? You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to see it go down. I'm so excited for this. Like, I think I've been waiting to hear what this movie is going to be about, and this just gets me all sorts of excited.
Yeah, I think that now we're we're on the edge of our seat, and I said since the beginning of this that I never really needed a Han Solo movie. It's a question of, can Lucasfilm make me want it? I mean, you put Star Wars on it, I'm going to get excited, and then you start to hear gangster, and then you're like, well, is it doing this mission that he met Chewie? Like, I want to know how he met Chewie. I want to know how he met Lando. It's going to be played by Donald Glover, which is very exciting too. Is Boba Fett going to be in this movie? So there's a whole lot of aspects that now that this thing is happening, and we had all of that stuff that Reilly brought up, there was the reshoots and all the negative publicity. Then Ron Howard comes in, he just starts Instagramming stuff and just starts dropping little hints without saying too much. It was the right way to turn the conversation by just not saying anything. So when are we going to get a trailer for this gangster movie?
I have no idea. But I love that you brought up what Ron Howard did, because he set the stage. My favorite thing he did was the first day he was there on reshoots, he's like, exclusive shot from Han Solo movie, and it's him throwing away his lunch on set. And I was like, he gets it. He's having fun now because he had to change the conversation. As far as a trailer, I have no idea. This is like, I mean, somebody was talking about Rogue One, that we got the first image. We haven't even gotten an image. We got the first image of Rogue One like a year and a half before the movie came out. So, but that had a different production journey. So maybe Black Panther, since that's coming soon in February. Probably a trailer on Black Panther. That's my call.
May 25th, 2018. May 25th, a famous date in Star Wars lore. In 1977, that's when the original New Hope opened. So, Rocha, we're going to see a trailer earlier than Black Panther, during Black Panther, afterwards.
Yeah, I think Black Panther makes the most sense, and it's the right time. And you want to let this whole hoopla of Last Jedi die down a little bit. And I think what Mark is saying is absolutely right. This idea of Ron Howard coming in, riding the ship a little bit, and wouldn't it be ironic if this is the film that turns out to be more beloved than The Last Jedi, and get less fan like craziness on Twitter, because so much of this production history has been troubling all over the place. So it would be ironic if Ron Howard was the guy to come in, just righted the ship, understood, like Mark says, gets it, and then steers this thing into port, and we all love it.
Yeah, it's interesting that the Last Jedi, we didn't hear any production issues whatsoever, and now it clearly has fans divided, whereas Han Solo, maybe they just got all of the squawking out of the way before the movie even comes out, and then everybody just loves seeing Han and Chewie in younger form back on screen. That first trailer is going to sell or, really turn a lot of people cold. Either way, it's going to have a huge impact whenever it comes out. I'm going to guess January. I want to see it January. I want to get that thing out. Lucasfilm, sometimes they like to have the entire spotlight and not say, hey, we're coupling this with Black Panther. So early in the week, we'll drop it on YouTube. I think it comes out a little bit earlier, and that's me with a little bit of wishful thinking. All right, let's move on to something that I guess some people might be wishing for is a sequel to a Netflix movie.
I guess so. According to a report from Bloomberg, Netflix is looking to continue taking on the big studios in fantasy franchises by setting up a sequel to the yet-to-be-streamed Bright. Will Smith has already signed on for the sequel, but there's no word yet on who else will join him and who might direct. David Ayer helms the first installment that stars Smith alongside Joel Edgerton, Noomi Rapace, Lucy Fry, Edgar Ramirez, Ike Barinholtz, and Kenneth Choi. It is set to debut this Friday, December 22nd. Reilly, what do you think about Netflix putting a Bright 2 in development with Will Smith?
Is it going to go now? Because the reviews just dropped, and it's not good. Doesn't sound good.
Is it bad?
Not good. It's not good. Haven't seen it myself, so I can't really comment. But the fact that I look at the business model of Netflix. They have a David Ayer directed movie with Joel Edgerton and Will Smith, who's going to be the genie in Aladdin. He's one of the biggest stars we have working today. So they want to go up against these big studios that are putting up their big franchises. They're looking at Bright as a hopeful something to add into the conversation and get those views and get it all there at home and show you we can put a big budget blockbuster on a streaming service and you will tune in and not go to the movies and what. And they're doing it the weekend after The Last Jedi. So this is going to be a really good litmus test to see how something like this, not a noticeable or recognizable property, but something that's like has the flash and has the stars and has the magic and has the franchise potential. Now, if the reviews are true and you turn this thing on and it's not good, then I don't think we'll see a Bright 2.
Yeah, Natasha, does it make sense to you to greenlight a sequel before it even comes out on Netflix? Netflix is famous for not releasing their stats. So we may never know how many people actually watch Bright or what people feel about it, but critics are not receiving it all that well. So do you think that they should have held on to that before they greenlit a sequel?
I mean, I would think so, but don't people do that all the time? Like with the avatars, like how many are there coming out? Like 9, and we don't know how many, like we don't know how good they're gonna be. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that the reviews are bad just because I specifically remember this trailer being caca, but I just don't understand why they would greenlight a second one. It just seems, I don't know who wants to see this.
Well, the Avatar thing is interesting, Rocha, because James Cameron said a couple weeks ago, we probably mentioned on this show, is that if the second and third Avatars don't do well, he ain't going to be making a fourth one. So Bright comes out, and again, we don't know how many people are going to tune into it. Will Smith is still a huge name. David Ayer, I really root for that guy. There's some other people involved in this movie that I'm not a fan of at all, and it's probably the reason why I will not be watching Bright. But getting a sequel this early in the game, yay or nay?
I think it's a nay, because I don't understand why you don't. What's the rush? Like, I don't get what's the rush. Let it drop. Let people enjoy it or not enjoy it. See what the reaction is, and then see if you want to go into this world. What I'm surprised about is Will Smith being signed on to do it. This is amazing to me. You couldn't get him on an Independence Day sequel. You have a hard time booking him on anything. It's like, dude, like, I don't understand why you're making this choice. What do you like? And maybe he likes this character. Maybe he loves this character, and so he wants another shot at it. Maybe he saw the cut of the film, went to the Netflix people who were in charge of this thing or responsible for this thing, and said, "I will come back for a sequel, but I want another director. I want another thing. I want another story." Maybe he did that, and that was the reason why he signed on. But I think it's premature to announce a sequel before people even haven't had a chance to watch the thing, because it drops on December 22nd, and the reviews are like 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. Most of the top critics did not like it at all. Called it gobbledygook. I read one of these things, and it's terrible. Like, I didn't know that word.
I have not heard the term gobbledygook since my 10th grade calculus teacher.
There we go. Well, someone of esteemed import wrote it.
Mr. Gillespie coming back.
So to me, this I mean, it doesn't get me. Like, I'm worried about this rush. What is this rush? The same thing with what you mentioned with Cameron and the Avatar thing. What's the rush? See how you do for the second one, then see the third. Because 9 times out of 10, this whole shooting them at the same time stuff doesn't really work out. And so, like, the results are kind of middling. So I'm a little concerned about the rush of this. Like, just give it time, let it breathe, see if the people like it, and then decide what you want to do with it.
I understand the hesitation with announcing 3 Avatar sequels you wanted to do. They're going to cost a combined $1 billion, but at least the first one made about $2.6 billion worldwide. Yeah. So I can understand why you may want to greenlight a few sequels to that. But Bright, I don't see why you do it yet. And I'll be the first guy to say, don't listen to critics, okay? I mean, if you want to see Bright, tune in and enjoy it on Netflix. I'm a huge Will Smith fan. There's just, like I said before, there's other people involved in this production that I just despise, and I'm not going to watch the movie because of them. So maybe if you change the behind-the-scenes staff or you get a different person to do a new story for Bright 2, I might be more prone to do it. I do like the synopsis, and Will Smith and Joel Edgerton, I actually like the trailer. I would not use this C word, caca, to describe the trailer. Reilly, did you hate the trailer as much as Natasha?
No, I really liked the trailers and wanted to see this, but then as it kept going and the marketing started to do more, there was a story that came out that I believe Bright is on the short list for best makeup and hair for the Oscars, and The Shape of Water was left off.
What?
Yeah, and I was stunned by this, and I went Bright, and there was something about it that just went, really? What is it? I mean, you gave Suicide Squad best makeup last year. There was a part of me that looked at that and went, what is there some politics behind this, or what? Why are they pushing Bright? It just seemed weird to me, and so that turned me off a little bit because, this looks, the makeup doesn't look like anything I would put an Oscar behind. However, again, the trailers didn't bug me. I liked the look of the mythology, but when I'm hearing all these bad reviews, I don't know. It just doesn't make me. It doesn't give me a lot of faith.
It concerns me for David Ayer as well.
Yes.
I mean, I love End of Watch.
Yeah, I root for Ayer so much.
Yeah.
I think he got a sort of a raw deal with Suicide Squad. He played nice.
Yeah.
But I think he got a raw deal with that, and then he's off the new the Scarface remake.
Right.
He's not doing that anymore.
Right.
And I think David Ayer has so much talent, and like you said, End of Watch, great movie.
Joe Carnahan is a template for what may happen to David Ayer, and that concerns me because Carnahan came out with Narc, came out with a couple and people liked, and then just kind of couldn't quite get back up there for studio stuff, or maybe he wanted to fly too high or too close to the sun. So with Ayer, if this is getting reviewed badly, Suicide Squad got reviewed badly, you start to be like, well, what's your next thing? Like, are you going to be able to do it again? Because End of Watch and Fury are 2 of my favorite films that have come out in the last 10 years. They're just really powerful films in smaller approaches. So maybe studio stuff isn't the best thing for him. Maybe staying in the smaller scale is better.
Well, you got to wait till Friday to check out Bright, but we have some movies that are opening this week. They might already, I don't know what happens around Christmas. Sometimes stuff opens and on Wednesday, sometimes Thursday. Natasha, I'm going to throw it back to you for these 2 movies. I caution you to really try to restrain your potty mouth. I mean, you almost dropped that. You use caca. Let's see what happens in this next story.
What's going on here? Okay. Opening this week, we have Downsizing, when scientists discover how to shrink humans to 5 inches tall as a solution to overpopulation. Paul, played by Matt Damon, and his wife Audrey, played by Kristen Wiig, decide to abandon their stressed lives in order to get small and move to a new downsized community. A choice that triggers life-changing adventures. Father Figures is also opening this week. Kyle and Peter are brothers who believe their father had died when they were young. When they discovered this to be a lie, they set out to find their real father and end up learning more about their mother than they probably ever wanted to know.
Okay, so you got Father Figures, and you got, which, by the way, this doesn't happen often, but I have a good friend of ours, friend of the show, Ash Crossan, was going to see Father Figures, and I told her afterwards, I'm like, look, I don't think I'm going to get a chance to see Father Figures, so if you could text me spoilers. This is like right after The Last Jedi came out, and her and I, we were at the premiere, so like we're like with some of the only people that knew all the stuff about Last Jedi, so it was kind of funny to be like, hey, Father Figures, and I was like, who's their father? And I'm not going to ruin the movie if you guys want to see it, but I called it, and I was very happy I called it, because I never get anything right guessing going into movies, so my fan theory of Father Figures actually paid off. up. Now, having said that, the movie doesn't look good. The trailer is pretty. I mean, if you have Terry Bradshaw in a movie and I still don't want to see it, that's not cool. Owen Wilson and Ed Helms, I think they're very funny. Glenn Close, big fan of hers. I like the cast. It's just nothing made me laugh in the trailer, and that gives me some concern. Now, the other one, Downsizing, it's another one of these movies that I try to stay away from the critical reception because it got nominated for like one award, I think, and then every other critical body has said that it is not good. Alexander Payne, I'm a huge fan of. I love The Descendants. And this one, you have a really interesting premise, like in inner space, and we get a little more deep into what the world could be like. If you could shrink yourself, Natasha, and you could say, hey, you're going to save so much money, and you can live this other life, and a bunch of people are doing it, all the cool kids are shrinking themselves, are you considering it?
I guess. I don't know. As much as I consider going to Mars when everybody goes out there, like I just don't think that would ever happen.
How many rockets have to go to Mars before you're like, all right, I'll sign up for one?
Go.
Because I'm on the first one.
I'm definitely not on the first one at all.
See, I don't want to be on the third one because then you're not really a pioneer anymore. I want to be a pioneer. I want to be sitting right behind Elon Musk.
Oh,
well,
that's a good one.
That's a great.
Yeah.
I'll sit behind him.
You're insane.
What do you?
Why would you want to go first? That thing could crash
Yeah,
and
you could
blow
die.
up.
Yeah, but I'd be like a hero, kind of.
I'm going on the
Would
third.
you, though?
Going on the third ship out.
Yeah, I'm with Reilly.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm
no.
sitting in
Let
the
that
back seat.
let the maiden voyage happen. See what happens. Second,
Yeah.
third
I'm
I'm
time's
gonna stick
the
it out
charm.
on Earth and wait for Wally to save, Mother Earth again, and then it'll all be good.
You know what we refer to your kind on Mars as third shippers.
Yeah. That's right.
So, Rocha,
Yeah.
which movie are you seeing, and would you shrink yourself?
Listen, I would love if Father Figures was good because I like to see comedies at Christmas. Like it's fun to go with your family and go with friends and kind of enjoy that. But it does not look good. Only one scene is funny is when Ed Helms goes when they run over the guy. He goes, "That was a person." Like that was a funny moment. But that's the only one that made me laugh. So Downsizing is something because, like you said, Mark, Alexander Payne, fantastic. Descendants is one of my favorite films as well, and. I do want to stay away from the critics as well. I just want to go and see what I think about it. And I've already got plans to go see it on Saturday with a friend, so I want to enjoy that film. That's the one. And I know I wouldn't shrink myself. I would want to watch other people shrink themselves.
But
And
you
then-
would eventually.
and then put them on my mantle and watch their little lives like a zoo.
You are a sick individual.
Dance for me, monkey. Dance.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm shrinking. I have no problem shrinking. I mean, look, I'm gonna need like the creature comforts. I'm gonna need a Starbucks. I'm gonna need a Chili's. I'm gonna need a gym.
Sorry, Chili's.
That kind of thing. Riley.
No chilies
No
for me.
chili.
Oh right, you almost
Chili.
died. Yeah. Sorry.
Wait, you almost died at a Chili's?
The opinions of Mark Riley.
Chili's,
Mark Riley.
Chili's tried to destroy me one day. And,
These are not the opinions
I haven't
of
been
Collider
back
Movie
since.
Talk.
Yeah. Don't avoid the loaded potato skins. That's all I'll say.
Look, us at Schmoes, we were tired of paying Riley every week. We
Yeah.
thought we had an easy out.
Yeah.
And didn't work in our favor.
It was the equivalent of Tanya Harding taking out Nancy Kerrigan with loaded potato skins. Why? As far as these movies, yeah, Father Figures. I'm not. Nothing's really made me laugh. The trailers, the premise. I remember it was called something different. And that was more fun. I don't know. I'm not going to see it. But you guys all mentioned Alexander Payne. I'm sorry, Sideways. I love the movie so
Sideways,
much.
just saw that too. It's great.
So much. Yep. So you know my love for Sideways. So he's one of those auteurs that I have to seek out his stuff. Reviews aside, so I want to see this. This is the one I'm looking at even more so than like Jumanji, even more so than Greatest Showman. Yeah, that's how much I love not only the premise but the man behind it, Alexander Payne. So I hope that I can find something fun out of it. Like I said, the premise looks great. What makes me laugh most about this segment is the fact that you and Ash were talking about father figures. There had to be a Snoke joke in there somewhere about being the family.
There are a lot of Last Jedi jokes in it, because there's so many lineage things that happen in all the Star Wars movies when you had the classic "No, I am your father" from Empire Strikes Back. So
exactly.
Not wondering who this person's father is. Chris Robinson in the chat room throwing fire right now, saying that Terry Bradshaw is the most overrated quarterback in history.
What?
Is that true,
Jeez.
Rocha? 4 rings would say otherwise.
What have you done, Chris? 4 Super Bowls, son.
Don't compare
4
Terry
Super Bowls.
Bradshaw to Chris.
Fine,
I'm sure
fine.
he has another pursuit in life. He may be the actual lead singer of the Black Crowes.
Oh God, what is he doing?
Could be that Chris Robinson.
Please.
Terry Bradshaw. You want an overrated quarterback? I hate to say Namath. I hate to say it, but I mean he had
Joe
what else?
Namath?
Yeah,
That was due to injury,
he
man.
had I know, but he had a. Why is he in the Hall of Fame? Look at his numbers.
Well, you want to see overrated? Why not Dan Marino?
Oh,
Dan Marino's
yeah.
one of the greatest
Oh
passers
no,
of all
Mark!
time.
Mark just shot me through the
Put a team around him, and he's
Ken
winning multiple
Napsok
rings.
just got up out of his chair,
Yeah, I know, I
and
was
he's
joking.
come. There he is.
I'm
Okay,
joking.
over here.
Dan Marino's fantastic. No, I was just joking. No, overrated, yeah, sure. Terry Bradshaw, no. 4 Super Bowl rings in the 70s when they didn't have like that the soft approach to football that they do now. You could like literally clothesline dudes coming across the middle. Terry Bradshaw did fantastic
He needed
work
a
in
pretty
the 70s.
good defense behind him, just in case he threw a pick. All right,
That escalated
Natasha.
quickly.
I just saw this just in. This show is called Movie Talk.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about movies for the
Yes.
rest of the show.
Yeah, no, I can finally contribute because I know nothing about what you guys were just talking about.
Well, this
All
is
right.
something funny that because as we go into buy or sell, she's going to give us a premise. We'll say whether we buy it or sell it, and everybody's going to get involved in the fun. This first thing, though, none of us have really heard of it from our childhood, although we think it might be back in the recesses of our minds somewhere.
Yeah. All right. Disney announced yesterday that Academy Award winner Judi Dench and Josh Gad have joined the cast of the live-action adaptation of Artemis Fowl, directed by Kenneth Branagh. Joining the cast as well is Irish newcomer Farida Shah, who will make his on-screen debut in the title role. Casting director Lucy Bavin saw over 1,200 actors for the part of Fowl, whose character battles against a powerful hidden race of fairies who may be behind his father's disappearance. Dench will play Commander Root, while Gad has signed on for the role of Mulch Diggums, a kleptomaniac dwarf who works for the fairies. Production will begin early next year in the UK, with a release targeted for August 9th, 2019. Rocha, do you buy or sell Judi Dench, Josh Gad, and newcomer Farida Shah in Artemis Fowl?
Yeah, absolutely. I do buy it. I mean, it's the Dame Judi Dench. How can you not? This lady has an Oscar. She's always great in any film she's in. Whether the film is good or not, who knows? But she's great. And I love this idea because it's a part written for a man, and she's doing it. So I wonder how they're going to make that work. Are they going to do the Linda Hunt in Silverado situation, or are they going to do something else? Like, I don't know how they're going to make it work, but I look forward to seeing her in charge of things because she's a commander in this, leading the reconnaissance branch of the LAP, from what I'm reading here. But this story, there's a lot. There's fairies and pixies and centaurs, and they're combined with people who are technical whizzes, and so it's a combination of like fantasy and real life combined into one. So I look forward to see what they can do with this. I like this casting. Josh Gad, if we could bring that up again, that graphic. Yeah, 1 second there. Ray, what is Josh Gad? This is what I would look like when I see the little people who've shrunk themselves in my that I have up on my mantle there. That's how I'd look at them.
I think you'd have more of a
they're
Anthony
so-
Hopkins
so
in
endearing.
Silence of the Lambs kind of look about
They're
you.
Can we
so
get that
little.
graphic?
Oh, can we-
Pull that graphic.
I'm going to eat you like a pog. Yes, no. But I love this idea, and I think you want to you don't want to cast big, huge names. You want to cast solid actors who are going to bring this to life. Because, like Mark, what you said, not a lot of us are aware of the Artemis Fowl thing, a story. So why not bring these solid actors who are going to bring it to life rather than take attention away from the story because they're huge actors? They're actually in service of the story. I think it's a smart move.
Well, now I hope they cast Daisy Reilly because I want to see the three of them
yeah.
do more Instagram vids together like they did on the
yeah.
Murder on the Orient
So
Express.
good.
Judi Dench and Josh Gad, you hit the nail on the head, Rocha. Shocking for you, but you did it. You pulled it off, and
Thank
it's
you.
because they are great character actors, and they're able to disappear into whatever role they're playing. Josh Gad, I thought that Josh Gad, that it was the most perfect casting of all time when he was playing LeFou, but now he's playing somebody named Mulch Diggums.
Mm-hmm.
That has Gad written all over it. A kleptomaniac is somebody that can't stop stealing. Reilly, you've stolen America's heart for the better part of 20 years now on camera. What do you feel about Artemis Fowl?
I appreciate that. Thank you. Not according to my Twitter, but that's another story.
Hello.
I know nothing about this. So what I'm reading now is the series breakdown on Wikipedia, and it sounds really great. I don't know how I missed this. I love the kleptomaniac dwarf. So we got and the name Mulch Diggum. So Gad, perfect. Buy it. Anything Judi Dench is in, buy it. Newcomer, I'm excited to see him because I love that it starts with, it follows the adventures of a 12-year-old criminal mastermind.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay, that sounds interesting. New world of fairies and everything. I'm in. I'm buying this. And we got to talk about Kenneth Branagh. The guy is such a great director, such a great actor. I've loved everything he's ever touched in one way or another. sounds like it's right up his alley, and I can't wait to see this. And Disney's behind it, so looks like we got a potential hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it. My only hesitation, Natasha, is that this feels, just reading the description, maybe it's because I'm getting swept up in the spirit of Christmas and the holiday season, but doesn't this feel like more of a holiday movie than it does a summer movie? It's coming out August 9th, 2019. That release date is hitting me funny. How about you?
I mean, I think the premise of I don't know this story, so I'm not really excited about it. So I don't really think the release date is weird, but I don't know. I'm kind of gonna sell this movie. I know it's so weird because it's Disney.
What could we do for you to get you to buy Artemis Fowl? Do we need a heavy hitter casting? Do we need a better or a big time director?
Chocolate croissant.
Kenneth Branagh.
Croissant.
To whet the appetite for a fowl.
Artemis Fowl. Hello.
We need
So
to put
we brought it back.
Lumiere
We brought it back for you
in
there, Ellis.
Artemis Fowl. Yeah, there you go.
So Natasha's going overseas, visiting some different places.
Yeah, that's why we're doing the accent.
And then the Twiddledee and Tweedledum over here got a whole
the Peanut Gallery
how
is,
dare
I believe,
you.
our official title.
How
doing
dare
the
you.
accent. To the point where Natasha might be canceling her tickets.
Yeah, I
so
know. I'm
thank
very
you guys
sorry that I told them where
I
I was.
am a kleptomaniac. Yes,
Okay, that's
I-
so
Jeez.
creepy. Please don't do that.
If there's one thing that can get us back on track, or at least get Mark Reilly back on track, I think it's going to be this next story. Prepare yourselves.
Prepare ye. According to Bloody Disgusting, the new Halloween movie, written by Danny McBride and David Gordon Green, with Green directing for Blumhouse, will be a true homage to the original that started it all. The site reports that the film has cast the original Shape actor Nick Castle as Michael Myers, but since Castle is now 70 years old, Rocha, you made me laugh.
I didn't say anything.
Stunt performer James Jude Courtney has also been cast to help complete the film. The true sequel to the original Halloween will see Jamie Lee Curtis return as Laurie Strode, with Judi Greer also signing on as her daughter. John Carpenter is also involved as executive producer, creative consultant, and composer, with the release date set for October 19th, 2018. Mark, buy or sell the original Michael Myers actor Nick Castle returning for the new Halloween.
I think I'll buy it,
Yes, you want to buy it.
but
Yeah, you want to buy it.
but I'm confused.
Okay.
And maybe you
That's
can
why I'm here.
enlighten me on this. So he's 70 years old,
Yeah.
and he's the brother of Jamie Lee Curtis's character.
Well, no, I don't think they're going there anymore.
What?
This is like an alternate reality that does pick up after the first movie, though, right?
Yes, and we didn't learn about the relation until Halloween 2. So, and that was the Rick Rosenthal sequel that John Carpenter wrote with Deborah Hill, but they didn't get involved in the sequel. So what happened was we were confused because at first it was like, no, this is going to be a true sequel to Halloween and Halloween 2. And then Danny McBride kind of clarified, and John Carpenter then confirmed it. Nope, it's an alternate sort of reality. Just kind of forget every single film and just go off of the first one. Just the first one.
Where we did not know the relationship with
didn't know
Michael Myers. He didn't have a solidified relationship to anybody.
He was essentially the Shape, a force of nature, flew into town during Halloween as an escaped mental patient, killed a number of teenagers, and then disappeared at the end like the wind going through the shadows. And I cannot... I love the idea that they're actually bringing the actor back, because now we are literally in time. We have a 70-year-old Michael Myers wandering around. That might sound funny on paper. It kind of does. You're like, well, I'll just run away then. But
It sounds terrifying. Have you met old people? They have strength.
yes, you never, like, I find that a fascinating wrinkle in the mythology of, like, how does a 70-year-old killer, serial killer, return? How are they going to make this work? If anybody can do it, it's Blumhouse with Carpenter, with bringing Laurie Strode back and Jamie Lee Curtis, with having some fresh blood and some outside of the box thinking with Danny McBride and David Gordon Green doing this. So that's a fascinating idea that I think is very interesting to explore on screen, because Michael Myers, if you just take the first movie and get rid of all the other sequels, he doesn't, like, at one point he became supernatural. He's wandering around getting shot a million times, and he's okay, just, yep, okay, and he keeps going. This kind of puts a pin in it, and it explores a deeper, weirder kind of angle of why this guy is killing her. Like, I don't know how, if you're going to take away Halloween 2, where you learn about him being a brother, how are you going to make it make sense for Michael Myers revisiting one of his former victims.
Okay. I'll buy it now. I'm in because Jamie Lee
it's kinda
Curtis in the
cool.
movie. Judi Greer is playing her daughter. You know who Judi Greer is.
No.
And Michael Myers is back now. And I do like that they're casting Nick Castle at least in to play part of the role of Michael Myers. It's a la what Star Wars has done with Peter Mayhew coming back to play Chewbacca in limited amounts. And then you also have a younger, more viable stunt person to play the rest of Chewbacca. So Rocha, I think that Reilly sold me on this. Natasha gave us a premise. I needed more information. I spoke with my legal counsel, and I'm now buying it. How about you?
Yeah, I'm buying it too. I think it's what you said was what I was going to say. The thing about Chewbacca, it's perfect.
So we can move
comparison. Yeah, well, pretty much. Yeah.
All right,
we can move on. No, but Mike. It's weird when they announce it, but I think it's great. I mean, my visual is 7-year-old, with the walker and stuff going after Laurie. But I love this idea that they're gonna bring him back. But I don't know what physical condition he's in, Mark. With Peter, there were issues with his knees, and he is a tall guy who played this part, Castle. So we need to see what his physical condition is and how much this stunt person is going to have to do. But I think when you're going to be picking up from the first movie, you cast the people from the first movie, I think it's great. It's always nice when they come back and pay homage and give them the parts back like they did with Mayhew with Chewbacca. So I love it.
Natasha, is 70 the new 40 if you are an escaped mental patient?
Yeah, totally. I would be scared of a murderer no matter what his age, to be honest. But I think this is super cool, especially for the fans. I actually haven't seen the original because I think I was too young for it, but I'm excited to see this one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time. Reilly, Halloween is your favorite of the Halloween franchise. You have to pick another Halloween movie for all the fans to check out around Christmas time. You going the direct sequel, Halloween 2? You going Season of the Witch? What do you got?
Oh, another Halloween in that?
Give us another Halloween.
Yeah, I'd go the direct sequel if. But am I going to confuse people? Because I'm confused talking about how we're getting rid of all those. Yeah. But if you just want to shut your brain off and have a good horror movie, I think Halloween 2, the direct sequel, is a good place to start. And with an honorable mention to Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, it's a pretty good sequel.
We do have some comments about this story in the chat room.
I'm sure it's not good.
Percy says Halloween 4 was so funny and some of the best kills in the series.
It was.
And then EJ Hyde at 2410 says, Terry Bradshaw was on a great team. If you put Dan Marino on that team, it still goes down as the greatest dynasty ever. I think it's definitely the great. I think they win 6 Super Bowls in a row if Marino's on that team.
Terry Bradshaw's going to be Michael Myers.
That was a... Oh, no, we're not. Yeah, that wasn't a... Sorry, I get NFL films.
Speaking of 7-year-olds.
Cinema confused. I was 7 when I saw Super Bowl 22. We are going to move on to Mailbag, but before we do so, I want to remind you guys that this is not the only show on Collider. A video later on today, we're going to have an all-new episode of Jedi Council. A whole lot of stuff to talk to, and there may be a baby carrot lurking around the set for that show. And then Inside Schmodown is going to be on the Collider Facebook page. It tapes live, and it is in anticipation of tomorrow's Schmodown Spectacular. December 22nd is the day. 3 parts. It's 3 different vids. They're all dropping tomorrow, and it's our big WrestleMania Super Bowl. Here's a quick look. The Schmodown Spectacular Part 2 airs tomorrow, December 22nd. So just get a big bowl of corn and sit in front of your computer and enjoy, or hook your computer up to the TV. You kids know how to do that. Get it on the biggest screen imaginable. It's going to be worth it. I am so excited to be announcing all 6 matches. I think it's 4 championship matches, a lot of other fun in between. So the Schmodown Spectacular Part 2 airing tomorrow. And make sure you guys stay tuned to Collider Video for the top 50 superhero movies of all time. We started at 50. We did some honorable mentions, and now we are working our way towards number 1. What do you think it's going to be? The Phantom?
Yes. I mean, we already talked about it. I don't know what you want to say. The number 1 superhero movie, yes.
What's your favorite superhero movie of all time? Okay, well, you think about it, and we are
Logan.
Ooh, wow.
Whoa.
Very recent. Very
That's
recent.
a recent
You going
one.
that recent?
No, it's Superman. Come on.
Okay.
Superman 1978.
1978.
Donner's original. Just love the movie so much.
All right, well, that was really just to kill time because we're not going to do Mailbag today.
Nah.
Let's just talk to you guys directly. Let's do some live Twitter questions. If you want to check out more Mailbag questions, you can check out the weekend show's Mailbag. Who's on Mailbag this weekend? Exciting. Ooh, wow. Look
Oh,
at
yeah.
that.
Yeah. I'm on there on
and Reilly.
Sunday.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm on
okay.
Saturday.
Look at them showing up every day for
Yeah.
you guys. And so now some live Twitter questions. You can tweet us anytime at Collider Video, and Natasha may read it on air right now.
Okay, speaking of Logan, Bob Gray asks, do you believe that Logan didn't get much award consideration from the Golden Globes due to the stigma of being a comic book property, or were all other nominees simply better?
I don't think all nominees were simply better. I think that's a very subjective question. What I will say is that the Golden Globes love giving 5 very serious, dramatic movies the nomination, and then any movie that they couldn't get into that category, they'll throw into the best musical or comedy. And I think that maybe with some comic, like, you could have tried to wedge in another style comic book movie into that. You could have tried to throw Wonder Woman into, well, there was some laughs in Wonder Woman, not a lot of laughs in Logan. That's a very serious, hard-hitting movie, so there's no way you could ever throw that into the best musical or comedy category. As talented as Hugh Jackman is at doing that kind of stuff, you didn't see it in Logan. That is a hard-hitting, dramatic movie, and it just did not cut the mustard at the Golden Globes. But does the Golden Globes cut the mustard with John Rocha?
As Paul Bettany would say, F yes, they screwed over Logan. This is some crap, man. Logan is a fantastic film. And of course it got destroyed because of the superhero stuff. I'm so sick of this. Aren't we done with this once and for all? You old fuddy-duddies, let it go. These are fantastic movies that are being done in superhero genre. Just because superhero genre doesn't mean you can't deal with human emotions. And that's what's happening in Logan. And isn't that what you want to revere in these movies? These movies that are supposedly dramatic, that dive deep into the emotional complexities of characters as they confront getting older, as they confront giving their legacy onto someone younger. There is so much in Logan to champion this film, and it's almost irrelevant that he is a superhero. That's what makes the movie so amazing. And I was wrong. Dark Knight's my favorite superhero movie. Logan is too. But still, Logan is amazing. Logan is. So I would say that, but I think absolutely, and it's what I was concerned about. It's why the Dark Knight got screwed over as well in 2008. It's just so wrong what they're doing to these superhero movies. Enough is enough already. You old foreign fuddy-duddies.
Let's go. Doing it to spite Logan, or is it just because there's only 5 slots? Here's the nominees for Best Drama at the Golden Globes. Call Me By Your Name, Dunkirk, The Post, Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Which movie do you take off for Logan? Those are all pretty damn good movies.
I'll take 3 movies off for Logan. I'll take Post right off. I'll take 3 Billboards off, which I love to pieces, but I think Logan was better. And what was the second one you said? Dunkirk. Snooze fest. Absolutely put Logan in there. I did not like Dunkirk. It was, to me, it was not as moving as I know Christian Harloff loved it. To me, it was kind of a boring movie.
Falling asleep during Dunkirk?
You fell asleep?
Yeah.
Who's falling asleep? There's bombs going off every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
If you got a guy you got Harry Styles in there, I'm turning off.
Oh, jeez.
Hey,
all right.
One Direction hater.
Reilly, are you agreeing with Rocha, which is totally fair?
No.
You want to talk some sense into him?
Yeah, I love your passion for Logan. I have it too. I don't put a lot of weight in the Golden Globes anymore.
Well,
I'm
true.
sorry.
That's true.
It's becoming a joke. It really is. It's becoming a joke. One, The Greatest Showman, they're putting that on there for the best comedy musical purely because it's the only musical out there. I mean,
It's true. It's true.
really? It's like I'm going to put like a big musical number in my horror movie and then it's going to make best musical. It just doesn't seem right. So I'm not putting a lot of weight on this. I think that a real true, you know, Logan could get some nominations in different categories. We have the DGA coming, nominations coming, the WGA. I don't know if anything's going to get those nominations, but I would love to see it too. I agree with everything you say about the bias against a superhero movie.
But can you tell that from this particular list is my question. Like, I agree that there is a bias against superhero movies, but those are 5 pretty good movies. Most of these award bodies only have 5 spots. The Oscars does have 10. So if the Oscars comes out and there's 10 movies that you could nominate and Logan isn't one of them, do you cry foul, Natasha?
I do. Yeah, I do.
She cries Artemis Fowl.
You cry Artemis Fowl. That's a hell of a callback. That's why you're on stage at the Kansas City Improv New Year's. I'm sorry, that's me, actually. See you guys there. Best Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy is The Disaster Artist, Get Out, The Greatest Showman, I, Tonya, and Lady Bird. So here's what we can do. Here's how we fix all of this. We take out The Greatest Showman. We put in 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which has a lot of dark comedy in there.
There it is.
And then you could put that into musical or comedy, and then you have a spot open for Geostorm. To each their own. I think Geostorm was the best dramatic movie of the year. And let's move on to our next question.
Okay. Jack Hallett asks, do you think Netflix is actually a better home for a movie with bad reviews like Bright? I probably wouldn't spend money at the theater on it, but since it's right there on Netflix, curiosity might get the best of me.
What a great question. And my answer is in the affirmative. Yes, for a number of reasons. One of the ones is that we touched on earlier in the show is that Netflix is under no pressure to release statistics. They don't even release statistics a lot of times to the studios that made the production. Like, I have a friend who made something on Netflix, and they have no idea how their thing did. Now, they got another season of their show, so they assume it did well enough, but you really don't know. Netflix is the only one that knows. And maybe down the road that's going to become an issue with if Martin Scorsese puts The Irishman on there and he really wants to know how The Irishman is doing. But for Bright, I think that it makes sense. If critics aren't liking it, it doesn't matter. A, it's in the comfort of your own home. So all you have to do is hit a button instead of getting your car and drive to a theater. You don't have to pay extravagant prices for popcorn and soda and sit in a theater with loud cell phones and babies crying and all that stuff. You get to watch from the comfort of your own home. So that might actually enhance the viewer's enjoyment of something like Bright. How do you feel, Reilly?
Great question, and I agree as well. The affirmative, because we don't know the metrics of Netflix like downloads and who's watching this particular movie, like say Bright. So I would love to get those details, but I think Netflix doesn't want to release those unless they're out there, and I'm not accurate on what I'm saying. But if you're sitting around and you're like hearing bad reviews, and oh my God, this is a mess, and you're hanging out on a Sunday night and it's lazy and you're like, there's Bright, let's check it out ourselves. And then that adds on to the many other people. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, a lot of people watch this thing, and Bright 2 is going forward because everybody had curiosity and wanted to see it. So could work to its advantage.
And now I get to a counter argument, Rocha, because the other side of this coin is that, yeah, let's say that you turn on Netflix and you have the intention of watching that new Will Smith movie. However, there's 100 million other options on Netflix that could steer you away. Like, if you turn it on to watch Bright and then you see, oh, well, hey, now they have a 30 for 30 on the Pittsburgh Steelers and whether they used steroids in the 1970s, you might want to watch that instead. So there's a lot of competing options that are just as easy to watch as something like a Netflix movie.
Yeah, Netflix can be an intentional journey, or it can be just kind of fly by the seat of your pants type of thing. But they do put their, and this is what they've changed recently in their app, is that when you go into it, they put their top movies right at the top there for you to watch, and the newest ones for you to select. So the impetus is there for you to make the easy choice. So if you want to go messing around on it, you can, but right there is probably Bright is the first thing, because the Crown, when it came out, first thing you saw. Stranger Things 2, first thing you saw. So they promote their things in a certain way, so you jump on it if you want to jump on it. So that's there. But I think what Mark is saying is absolutely right too. It's no different than when back in the day when you would have like all the pay channels for the movies. You're flipping channels and you go, oh, I heard this movie's pretty good. Let me watch it for a few minutes. So the access to it is what's important more than going to the theater. It's more effort to get in the car, drive, pay the money with the chance that it might be terrible, buy refreshments, sit in that theater. And so it's easier to just flip channels and go, oh, I'll give it 5 minutes, 10 minutes is terrible, I'm moving on.
Natasha, so Netflix has this system where, like, after you use it for a while, they kind of customize things for you to watch. So that's the first thing that pops up. So, like, for me, I watch The Punisher. I get a lot of, like, hard-hitting action movies. My brother has a kid, and they watch, like, Curious George, so they have more, like, kids' movies and Star Wars on there. What is on your what is Netflix suggesting to you currently? Do you know?
I mean, I may as well check.
We're going to pull it up right now, but I will tell you guys this in the meantime, is that Netflix, the closest they've been to releasing any sort of numbers is when Netflix tweeted earlier this month. There's 53 people out there that watched The Christmas Prince every day for the past 18 days. And Netflix said there's 53 of these people. To those people we ask, who hurt you?
I mean,
one of those people is Alicia Gaynor, who has told me that she's watched it every day.
I did not watch The Christmas Prince, nor do I want to, but for some reason, Netflix is suggesting Christmas Inheritance, and it looks like just as bad of a movie.
Christmas Inheritance. That's going to get wacky. What else we got on there?
Wait, what can you tell? Netflix originals? No, suggestions?
Yeah, suggestions.
Yeah.
I got The Office. I got The Crown. I got Dark. No, Yeah, Dark, Guardians of the Galaxy. That's
Okay,
a
that's
good
a
one.
pretty good smattering there.
Yeah.
I looked at the TV shows that were like, or the Netflix originals or whatever, and I saw The Ranch, and then I quickly saw Wormwood, and I thought it said Wood Ranch, and I got really excited. The Wood Ranch, my favorite restaurant, had a TV show. Not the case yet. Let's do one more Twitter question, and we will call it an afternoon, and I will catch a plane.
Yeah. Okay. Ben Solo asks, looking back at 2017, what movie did you have the most fun with while watching it in the theater? Although I loved The Last Jedi, I had loads of fun watching Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming way at the top of a lot of people's lists. Mine included the most fun you've had watching a movie. Obviously, Star Wars The Last Jedi is going to be in the mix for me. Reilly, a movie that you just had such a great time in the theater checking out. Anything rise to the top? What's the cream?
I mean, yes, The Last Jedi. I mean, I had a blast watching that movie. But I'm going Thor Ragnarok.
Damn it!
Me too.
Yeah.
Took my choice.
Sorry, I took your choice. Yeah, that was one of the best times in the
So
theater.
good.
I was laughing. I couldn't stop laughing sometimes. And then the action and everything. I mean, it was a home run for me as far as an MCU entry with Thor. That popped to my mind right away.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rocha.
I may
it's
be
okay.
considered
It's a
a
good
little
choice.
bit of a psycho here because I enjoy getting into horror movies, and sometimes I laugh because either I'm getting scared or I'm relieving the tension, and so
Oh, yeah.
I will giggle like audibly a lot of times watching them. And sitting next to Josh Bakuga, watching it,
I wish I could have done that.
one of the better film-going experiences I've ever had. That poor young man, and I'll couple that with Annabelle Creation, because Annabelle Creation, came out in the summer, didn't have super high expectations, though I'm a big fan of David Sandberg, and I laughed a lot during that movie in a good way because I was genuinely terrified with a number of different things that he was able to do with that flick. Rocha, you've had some time to do some
Yeah.
research. What are you pulling up?
Well, if I can't do Thor Ragnarok, I will say one of the most recent ones, Jumanji. Jumanji was a great time in the theater. I thought Disaster Artist, which I saw recently, was an absolute great fun time in the theater. And the Lego Batman movie, I think, came out this year, didn't it?
Yeah,
So
it did.
Lego Batman was a lot of fun. I remember being super surprised because some of the critics weren't so favorable to this movie, and I sat and watched it at the NoHo 7, and I could not have had a better time watching a comedic superhero movie.
That NoHo 7, that is no joke. That
a
is
good place
That
to
is
go.
a good movie theater to check out. Natasha, you're sitting in a movie theater in 2017. What gave you the most fun?
Well, yeah, if I can't pick Thor, because that was definitely the most fun of the year, I think it's a toss-up between Wonder Woman and Baby Driver. I don't know which one. I had a lot of fun in Wonder Woman, but I think Baby Driver was my favorite of the year. So
That's a good play. Fun fact about Baby Driver, John Rocha fell asleep during it. You just
No,
can't
I
keep that guy
did
away.
not. I loved Baby Driver.
Okay.
Stop it.
Any good movie, and I'm just going to start the room with you.
Citizen Kane, he fell
Thank you
asleep.
guys for tuning in to this episode of Collider Movie Talk, and a hearty farewell to 2017. For me, anyway, the gang's going to be back with Dennis Zen tomorrow for your Friday Movie Talk, and then I believe we are going to be dark from Movie Talk until the new year. We do have a special New Year's edition of Movie Talk that we are going to be doing where we preview some of the most anticipated movies, hopefully flicks that we have a lot of fun with in the theater in 2018. So stay tuned for that. Mr. Mark Reilly, where can all the kids find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, at ReillyAround. See you there.
John Steven Rocha, when you're not napping in a movie theater at the NoHo 7, where can the kids check you out?
You can always find me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. And new Outlaw Nation episode today, we talk about Star Wars Last Jedi with my friends Vogel, Shannon, and Kalinowski, the KO killer. But I do want to say one thing. Mark, it's been great being on the show with you, brother. Like, you're such a fantastic host, and
Yeah, he is.
I'm still new to the business. So me watching this guy work, it's just incredible to watch him work, and I learned so much from being next to you. So, and not ass kissing, not trying to get any favors, legitimately telling you, because this is our last show of the year, and who knows what's going to happen. And I just want to tell you how much I've appreciated being on the set with you.
All right, I'm going to rescind the email I sent to management. Rocha
Yeah.
can be on Movie Talk
He's
next
his
year.
job.
Thank you for all of it, for being a great sport. You take a lot of punches, and you take it with a smile on your face. And Riley, really the purveyor of Movie Talk each and every day.
Absolutely.
What you bring, the show notes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for being such an easy partner to work with all these. It's like we're
this is the-
breaking up.
I
Yeah,
know.
we're not,
I
yeah.
know. What's
This is the
going
best.
on?
Yeah,
It's the end of year,
Ditto
so-
to what Rocha said, but I'll add to this. Yeah, it's a pleasure doing Movie Talk with you. It's really fun and really easy to make a good show with you. So, and you run a hell of a ship. So,
Well, if there's one thing that I can do, it is not get a big head. So I appreciate your compliment, and the great Mark Ellis will take it in stride. Natasha, thank you for everything that you brought
Thanks.
to
I was like
Movie
waiting
Talk
for my
so much.
compliment. I was like, where am I?
You've done it. You've done a fantastic
Thank
job
you.
each and every time we've gotten the chance to work together, and I look
Yeah.
forward to Netflix suggesting more things.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thanks to all you guys. And this is my last show of the year, too. So, woohoo, I'm so excited. And you guys can find me in Paris eating croissants and saying oui, oui until the new year. I'm so stoked. And you can also find me on Instagram and Twitter at NatashaLexis_.
Okay, now you have fun in Paris and Prague, okay? But I am sending Liam Neeson with you just in case.
Thank you. Okay? I appreciate that.
Don't worry. He's got the leather jacket. He knows people. He has a very special set of skills. And thank you guys most of all for tuning into Collider Movie Talk, and I got to the opportunity to take the show over. I wasn't sure if it was something I really wanted to do, and I fell in love with the cast and with the set and with the hardworking crew, Cody and Adam showing up day in and day out, making the production great. So thank all of you fans for everything that you guys have done, all the support, all the criticism. I take it in stride and I use it to try to get better. Thank you, guys. Have a great holiday season. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Terry Bradshaw is not overrated.
That's right.
Hey, everybody. Mark Ellis here. Thanks for watching this episode of Collider Movie Talk. You want to watch more? Then click up here, or you can click right here for more great content from Collider. And if you haven't subscribed to Collider Video, do so right now and share this vid with your friends. Thanks for watching.